Hi, in this video, I will shortly present Viva Grass Planner, the most advanced module of Viva Grass integrated planning tool. This module aims to support grassland management decisions by prioritization of different ecosystem services. It is targeted at professional users who could apply the ecosystem service information in their spatial planning process. The module requires registration, which is done by the system administrator. When a new user or organization registers, it gets its new customized environment. Viva Grass Planner enables to carry out advanced prioritization and classification functions, to visualize the results in the map, as well as to export the proceed data. This is the default view of Viva Grass Planner module. The interface is divided into these parts. Tools menu, also called Widgets menu, which contains actually 6 widgets, but we see 4 of them and other 2 are in the section More. Layers group section or layers list, the map, the attributes table, and the background map selector, where you can change the background map to orthophoto or to OpenStreetView. The default widget that is turned on when entering Viva Grass Planner is Layers List. It has 3 groups of layers. Contextual layers of the organization or user, land use blocks, and the section of Viva Grass contextual data layers. All the layers can be turned on or off, and they are represented on the map. The map itself has these functions: zoom in and out, the search field where we can insert the location of our interest, spatial filter option, and the Add New Object option. The Attributes section contains all the attributes of the land blocks that organization has. By zooming in on the map, you can see all the information of land blocks. While inside the Attributes table, you can filter them, land blocks out. For example, by writing the value, the number, you can filter the polygons which are evaluated as having the value of 3 of the exact ecosystem service, in this case herbs for medicine. You can also add the second filter or as many as you want, and to see if there are grasslands which correspond to those values. In this case, there are no land blocks that correspond to both filters I selected. Another section is Prioritization, where the results come when you use Prioritization widget. Context data is actually context data that the organization or the user has. In this case, you can see on the map that we have the layer green network. When you select the layer, you can see its attributes in Attribute table. User data can be imported as shapefile. Spatial filter is working by selecting the area of your interest with the mouse, and the land blocks in this area appears in Attribute table. You can also add new object. First, select the type of the object. I selected to insert a new semi-natural grassland. Then you draw with the mouse the object, and then you can ask the system to calculate ecosystem service value for the polygon you draw. The tool automatically calculates the ecosystem service value if it finds the necessary data already included in the tool. The data about slope category and soil category. If these data are not included, you need to insert them by yourself by choosing options from drop-down menus. So in this case, you see the tool has not found the inserted data, so as the expert, you insert them yourself and then calculate the values of ecosystem services. In the table, you get the values calculated according to the information you selected. You can also select the field on the map and edit any of its attributes you want. And then save it. The second widget is Prioritization. Prioritization is the arrangement of items in order of importance relative to each other. So, you can set the priority of group of land blocks according to your chosen rules. To do that, first you select the area of your interest. Then you press New Prioritization and select the criteria for prioritization. In this case, I selected few ecosystem services, maintaining habitats, pollination and seed dispersal, and global climate regulation to work with. Then, I apply their weights according to my knowledge. The most intensive red color means land blocks with the highest correspondence to my criteria. And you see, there are 5 colors or groups. I can also select Show Rank Labels option and see the numbering of polygons according to prioritization. So in the map, I will see the number of each polygon in the priority order. Since I already created a new prioritization rule, now in the attributes table, I can select prioritization, and in front of the table, I see those 3 ecosystem services I selected. There is also an index corresponding to the colors intensity groups and the rank. These attributes we get from our prioritization. You can edit the attribute list and select other attributes if you want. In this case, you can select new ecosystem services. And then you can download these data that were prioritized, start new prioritization, continue to classification widget, or store those indexes to a field and use it, for example, for classification. In order to store the index to the field and have it in the attribute table, at first you need to create a new field. Later, we will show you how to do that. You can also save the prioritization rule or update an existing rule. After saving this rule, you can go to any other place where you have the data, apply the spatial filter, press Start New, and select the existing rule. In this way, you get the same prioritization in other area, and you don't need to insert the same criteria and weights again. And you can easily edit the criteria and get different results. All the time you can turn on or off these different layers. It can help for your analysis. Classification widget allows you to arrange the elements in groups according to specific criteria, values, or attributes. Firstly, you select the territory you want to classify. Then you make a new classification rule. You start by pressing Add, selecting the color, and inserting the name of the class. Then you write the expression or rule. For example, the ecosystem service herbs for medicine equals 3. It's a medium value because the minimum is 1 and maximum is 5 as indicated in the table. When you press test and OK, in the map you see the land blocks that provide the herbs for medicine in the value of 3. You can also add another category. For example, we want our tool to put in one category land blocks that have the highest value, which is 5 from 5 in pollination and seed dispersal, and higher than medium value, which is 3 from 4 in filtration or storage. So we created this class, and now we have two classes. You can see them on the map. You can download, start new, or save the classification rule. In the same way as in prioritization, you can zoom in to another area and apply the same classification. To do that, you click Start New and then choose just created new classification rule. And here we have the results in the map. We can turn off and on the other layers. Using the next calculation widget, you can work with the contextual data layers your organization has and land use blocks. First, you select the field where you want to summarize your data. Those fields are actually the attributes in attribute table. We already have created a new field where we want to summarize our results, but you need to create a new field if you don't have it already. Later we will show you how to do that. Then you select the organization's layer with which you want to work with, and the method with which you want to work with. You press Calculate and see the results in attribute table. In the field, you select it as the first option. You see in this case we have values of 1 or 0, where 1 means that this land block is inside the green network layer, and 0 means that it is not, it is outside. We can filter this out and get the results visualized in the map, as we did previously. In this case, on the map, we see those polygons that are outside green network layer. In the section More, you can find 2 more widgets, Printing widget and Settings widget. The first option, User Attributes, on Settings widget helps you to configure the attributes your organization has. You can add the custom attribute, name it, select the type. Those types are the mostly used GIS field types. Then you see the newly created attribute appeared on the list. You have to press Return to the Planner. When you enter, you see that in the attribute list, you have the new attribute already inserted. The second option is Upload. You can upload your data by selecting the file and clicking Upload. The third option is Download data from base map. You need to select the territory, and press Submit. or upload your polygons by selecting the file and pressing Submit. In this way, you can download the data. You can also edit the settings of layers by turning on or off additional layers, which then appear on the contextual layers of your organization. Those are all functionalities of Viva Grass Planner module. If you haven't understood something, or you missed some terminology in the video, please check the video descriptions for more details and links, or go to vivagrass.eu.